Okay, so this video is basically to kind of introduce people to the new Windows 8 interface and try to get you acclimated with it, so you're not just listening to um, people kind of bashing the operating system because they just don't feel like learning like a new interface, which is to me kind of ridiculous with all the different smartphones out there and different versions of Android. Uh, there have been iterations of Windows that have changed before where the interface kind of threw different objects around and you had to kind of find them again. I don't see what's so hard about trying to learn in this new operating system. So, this is the new start this is the new start screen. Basically it's just uh, a version of what the mobile platform looks like. It has tiles that live update. It's very simple. I actually like it. It makes things kind of easier to find for people that maybe have bad vision. As you can see clearly, my Internet Explorer tile, my Skype tile, my mail is down the left hand corner. And I do like the fact that these so-called apps, they take up the whole screen when you open them. Like if I go to mail, it's going to open up, it's going to take up the whole screen. But the best thing is that when you go back and you want to go to the desktop, when that process is running, that mail process is running in the background, or it's there, it's still open, but it's not actually taking up memory or resources in the background. So it allows your operating system, whatever you're on, whatever app that you're actually currently running, it allows it to run better. You're not using up your system resources. Now, on a system like mine, which has 6 gigabytes of RAM, it doesn't really make a difference anyway. Windows 7 ran fine. I had enough resources for it. But on other computers that have less RAM, less resources, slower processors, 1 gigabyte of RAM, this is something that is a really good feature, and it wasn't really, necessarily designed for that. It seems to me, but it's kind of based on the fact that they want this platform to be able to transfer over to tablets and tablet PCs. So it has to be able to run on slower architectures and lower power platforms. Okay, so, let's get into it a little bit. We'll go back to the start menu. First of all, if you want to find anything on every app, this little sidebar menu pops up and you can go to the settings. Right now I can go in the settings for the start menu. I can decide whether or not if I want to have the administrative tiles on or not. And you can't see them, but they're over to the right. They're all over here. You can see they're just standard things you had in Windows 7: system configuration, system information, things of that nature. And one of the things that I do when I fix computers is I actually, or when I perform maintenance on them, what people didn't understand was that they would always kind of clog up their Windows starting process. And normally before you had to kind of go through, you had to know that you had to type in msconfig at the start menu and go set up the start menu or the startup processes manually. Well, now with the new task manager, the startup tab is actually incorporated into part of it. So it's right there, it's really easy, and all you have to do to stop something is right click it and click enable or disable. Another really cool thing is there are two versions of certain software, I guess. Like I could download Skype, as you can see it on my desktop here, and I can have it running on on my desktop, but I can also have it running as the side app, and the other app will actually give me notifications pop up if I have messages or calls or whatnot. But the thing is, I can still actually be on another call on my desktop version. Internet Explorer 10 has two versions. You can see there's a desktop version right here. It runs quite well. It's kind of built for the newer standards in programming, the HTML5 and whatnot. And then also, if you go back to the start menu, there's a full screen version, and it basically, I'm not really sure yet what all the differences are, but if let's say I want to open up a page and then I want to open up another page. It separates the tabs on top and you get a full screen experience. And if you want to, basically, if you want to go ahead and see which other tabs are, all you have to do is right click. Okay? Now, if you want to go back, if you don't want to have to go through the start menu every time to go back to something else that you open, all you have to do is you go to the top left hand corner, pull down, and you'll see your current open apps, and all you do is click on it. It'll switch the I've been calling them surfaces, really. They're kind of like desktops. Each one is like its own desktop. You can also hold it in the left hand corner and you can tap it and it'll cycle through, similar to actually repeatedly pressing the Alt and Tab buttons at the same time, where you can cycle through your open windows. So what else can we go through? It's really easy to personalize. Maybe while we're here, we can just go ahead and say if you have trouble finding your power button, your network, it's all right here. All you have to do is put your mouse in the lower right hand corner, or put it in the right hand corner, swipe down or up. You're going to pull up this charm menu once again and hit settings. Now if you want to go ahead and you want to customize your look and how everything kind of fills out your Metro style or Metro UI, you have a change PC settings down at the bottom. This is going to bring up its own app. You can change your lock screen, you can change your start screen, you can change what notifications you get. Okay, you can change what it uses to search. There's a ton of things you can do. You can figure your Windows Update, home group, sync your settings, just basically standard features, okay? One of the cool things I like is the weather. The new weather update. It's kind of built into operating system. Saves you time from having to find a website with your current weather, your local weather station, your news channel, basically. And it has your forecast, it has your hourly forecast, which if you're an iPhone user, you know that you have a weather application that actually has an hour by hour basis weather. And also included, you have the new maps. You can go ahead and you can open it up and it will go ahead and play the last few hours of video for you. It's supposed to. Radar, that's right. Alright, here you go. So you can see currently this is my area where I'm at. And close that. And you also have a snap feature where you can go ahead and put the window on one side and open up another window on the other side. I've been hearing a lot of people complain about how they're missing the snap feature, the 1-to-1 snap ratio, which is on the desktop. So if I go back to the desktop and I shoot that over to the side, you can clearly see that the snap feature still works. So if I open up multiple windows, that 1-to-1 snap ratio is still there, okay? Now let's go ahead and we can kind of go over a couple of things with the file table, I guess, right? Now it has two versions of the menu up top. It has the ribbon style menu and you can expand it, and basically what this does is it kind of puts out all the options that you have if you're somebody that doesn't really know what's available to you. A lot of people, like power users like me, somebody that works on computers all the time, we know that all these options are there if we right click, And for somebody that doesn't need it, you can just go ahead and minimize the ribbon. Continuing on though, so there are a lot of things that are actually built into the operating system now that were actually third-party softwares before, like being able to mount an image file. And if I go ahead and snap this over to the left and open up if I open up this Roller Coaster Tycoon folder over here, basically this is just a game, but it uses disk image files, and I would either have to burn these on a disk before or download a third-party software. So if you notice, when I click on Roller Coaster Tycoon, there's a new menu that pops up. It says Disk Image Tools. Now if I click it, it opens up a new menu. And if you notice on the right hand side, when I mount the image, you can see that it automatically mounts the image and puts it on a DVD drive. Well, it's supposed to. There it goes. Alright, so now you have this. You have drive tools. If you want to right click, if you want to remove this file, all you have to do is go to the computer and eject it. You also, if you want to mount the file, you don't have to use the disk image tools at the top. All you have to do is double click it and it'll do the same exact thing, which is really cool. A lot of new kind of integration with third-party applications, just as Apple was kind of utilizing Siri. Was actually like something that was third-party. It was kind of integrated into the system. They're kind of making this operating system a little bit easier to use. You just have to get used to it, and a lot of people are, kind of resenting that they have to change the way they operate on their computer. And one of the specific things you always hear about, or one that I'm hearing about, is maybe that you don't have the start menu options that you had before. Like, you couldn't just scroll through all your programs. Well, if you really miss it that much, if you go to the properties of the taskbar, you can go to the toolbars and you can add a desktop toolbar. And you can see it pops up down here, and you can add whatever you want to this. So for those of you who are, those sticklers that want to pick one thing they hate about an operating system, if you didn't like the fact that you can't go through your start menu programs, folders, and whatnot, and have quick access, quit crying about it. One of the other things before that, I didn't think was really any useful was to pin items to the taskbar. As you see, like I have now, I have Internet Explorer, File Explorer, and Google. Well, before it wasn't really useful, but now that it's the desktop is separate from the start menu UI, it is kind of useful because maybe it is cool that you have the start menu with all these visible tiles, but a lot of these applications that you notice, maybe they're in red with the theme colored tiles. Those tiles mean that they're only going to run on the desktop. Everything else has its own color, like kind of bluish, green, purples. They all run full screen in their own app, in their own, I guess, environment. And the reason I guess it does this is kind of just to separate the environments. It eliminates the need for hogging out resources. Something else cool, I guess this is going to be something new that you might want to get used to. It's something that you should already be used to if you're a smartphone user. There's an app store. And pretty simple. If you need to search for something just like any other application, you just click search, you click down the app store, and type in whatever you want to look for. If I want to look for Skype, I guess just use a basic one, Skype. Saluto. Saluto is actually a really good program to help clean up your startup processes. So basically, from this charm menu on the right hand side, you can search for anything. Files, you can search any application. Bing, you can search finance, you can search anything you want. All you have to do is type it in and select what you wanted to search. Now, I am kind of just bouncing around at what I see because I have ADD and blah 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 blah. I just want to kind of show you guys how the operating system works. And I'm kind of at a standstill right now. There are still a lot of features that I want to go through, but it's not a huge deal as long as you kind of get the basic understanding of how the UI works, and it's actually kind of, it's really a lot more intuitive. You just have to take maybe like 30 minutes to an hour and just kind of navigate through it, and it'll kind of grow on you, because I actually did download the developer's preview a little while back, and I didn't know that there was a desktop, and so I basically just kind of like said that, well, this is kind of crap, and I'm just going to wait for the release to come out and check it out. And then, I gave it, I basically said I'm going to upgrade my computer, and I'm just going to stick with it because I need to learn how the operating system works. I work on computers for a living, and I actually like the operating system. I think it runs very well. I think it's very well designed, and people may not like some of the parts of the design, but I think that everything has a purpose to it, and it's very well thought out. So if you have any questions, I don't have a problem helping you out. Just go ahead and leave them there. I'll go ahead and I'll throw my email down in the box. Just throw me a message, alright?